Hey everybody, welcome back to Fantasy R&R. My name's Rob.
I'm Ryan. This is your Week 14 preview.
Let's hit that Jingle Bell Rock.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan. Fa la 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 Fantasy Football.
All right, we got the New England Patriots against the Los Angeles Rams Thursday Night Football tonight. Very excited about this one. Ryan, what do you see? Who are you playing in this Thursday night matchup?
Oh, man, this is a mess of a matchup, isn't it? New England shuts out the Chargers last week.
Right.
But they're going up against a tough defense this week. Cam Newton did not produce in the passing game, and the running game was real all over the place. Sony Michel and Cam Newton actually combined to out-carry Damian Harris. I'm in a position where I think I got to start Damian Harris tonight in case McCaffrey doesn't play. Are you seeing the same thing on Los Angeles side of the ball?
Yes, I am. I've Cam Akers in a few teams, a little shaky, but I'm trusting my gut instinct. I drafted this guy for a reason, so I am playing him.
There you go.
Yes, so let's go. Damian Harris and Cam Akers, you got fans in us. The Houston Texans at the Chicago Bears. Who are we looking at here, Ryan? Who's a must-start in this matchup?
Must-start is David Montgomery, actually. I'm downgrading Deshaun Watson here, and Kiki QT's got a knee injury. I mean, he's always been an injury concern. He's kind of like Fuller in that sense. Fuller's gone. Cooks is a little banged up. We don't even know if Cooks is going to sit. So, it's a bad situation for Deshaun Watson. David Johnson is probably going to be utilized a little bit more often in this game. Chicago's defense is tough, though. What are you looking at here for Chicago's wide receiver situation?
Darnell Mooney, I know everybody was kind of hyping on. I just can't even trust this wide receiver situation. Of course, like we have said before, you got to start Allen Robinson, but I'm not trusting anybody with any sort of confidence, to be honest, on either one of these teams, especially the Houston Texans running back situation. The Dallas Cowboys at the Cincinnati Bengals. Can't wait to not watch this one. Ryan.
Licking my chops here.
Yeah. Anybody in particular you're eyeing on this matchup?
I would actually potentially fire up some of your old Bengals wide receivers that might have been collecting some dust on your bench there. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd could be some interesting plays. Dallas, unfortunately, I don't think anything's going to happen for them. Zach Martin looks like he's out for the year now, big piece of their offensive line. So
Perfect.
Zeke has not been playing all that great. His floor is going to get even lower.
Yeah.
Now, we did see Gallup have an uptick in production. What are you looking at? What do you make of that?
I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest. Anytime Andy Dalton is, quote-unquote, throwing the ball, I don't know who he's going to, quote-unquote, throw the ball to.
Yeah, and use that term loosely.
Exactly. That's why I'm using my quotations here, let alone who's going to be willing to catch it. And the same thing with Cincinnati side of the ball. I believe Tyler Boyd had that big touchdown last week. But again, more fluke than it is consistent playing.
What was really fun to watch that game, by the way, and we'll talk about it a little bit more going into this next game, Kansas City and Miami, because there was a huge brawl between Miami and Cincinnati. Tyler Boyd was ejected from that game, along with Xavier Howard, their top defender. We saw Flores try to get in on the action and start a giant on-field scramble from the benches. Very fun football. Don't know if that's going to happen again in Dallas and Cincinnati. Don't know if that's going to happen again in Kansas City and Miami, but, might have a little bit of an ejection problem here with these teams. Not sure.
This will be interesting. Good segue into the Kansas City Chiefs at the Miami Dolphins game. This is my game of the week, and guess what? I'm putting on the Swami hat, and I do believe Miami is going to come out victorious in this game. That's right. I'm saying it. Miami, we were so wrong about the Patriots Chargers, so why not get wrong again? But I do have some confidence in this Miami defense. This is going to be interesting. Miami is playing for a playoff spot. Kansas City is all but locked in, or no, they are locked in. Excuse me, the only team locked in the playoffs right now. Who are you starting in this matchup, Ryan?
I want to start Mike Gesicki here at tight end. I think he could be a good play against Kansas City's defense. Now, he's probably not going to cut the field like Kelsey does on the other side of the ball, but I do have a lot of confidence in him going forward. I think Tua has a rapport with him, and that Gaskin could potentially provide enough of a buffer for this game to get going with Gesicki. Maybe not so much you guys on the outside like Parker. On Kansas City's side, a guy that you've long had a man crush on, but not so more. Le'Veon Bell. Looks like Clyde Edwards-Helaire had to sit out due to a precautionary illness situation last week. Are you going right back to Edwards-Helaire here, or are you trusting Le'Veon Bell in a flex situation?
Well, I know a lot of the talking heads are all about sitting Helaire, but it's funny that you do bring this up because I was going to play a game. I don't know if we have a jingle for this or not. Yay or nay? I've got my old-timey wig on. Yay or nay? Le'Veon Bell eclipses 100 yards in this game.
Man, I would have trouble laying my money down in Vegas on that one, but with the way that our season's been going, I would not be surprised.
I know, especially when he was taking all those carries last week, and I know we both were very confused. The Arizona Cardinals at the surging New York Giants. Ryan, who are you looking at here in this matchup?
I think that Kyler has his bounce-back game here. I know you've been talking about how the Giants are looking a little bit better on defense than they are. But if you've got Kyler and he's brought you this far, if you're going to the playoffs this week, you start him.
There we go.
Really like the idea of Kyler in this matchup, maybe returning to the run game a little bit. As far as your wide receivers go, this could be a big breakout for Kirk. I'm calling it like I did with Jarvis Landry that one week. I'm thinking Kirk has a blow-up game here. What's going on New York side of the ball and your boy Gallman?
There we go. My boy Wayne Gallman, who has been doing wonders for my ESPN league. Unfortunately, that was the only league where I picked him up. This guy looks like he knows how to run, runs with authority, ran, I believe it was 134 yards against Seattle. I believe he could do the same thing against Arizona. I would start him everywhere you have him, even if Texas product Colt McCoy is under center for New York. The Minnesota Vikings at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's play a game of who gets the most touches at wide receiver. Ryan, who you got for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game?
Got a couple of things going on. This is my game of the week.
This is Ryan's motherfucking game of the week.
Minnesota at Tampa. Minnesota trying to squeeze into the playoffs. Tampa Bay trying to squeeze into the playoffs. This is it. There's no screwing around here. Now, they're going to be in the dirty South where Tom Brady's been getting nice and sweaty, and I want to believe in Antonio Brown, returning to Antonio Brown status in this game and having a big, big game against Minnesota Vikings.
I like it. And let's just cue up. I want to believe, too, Justin Jefferson is running away with the Rookie of the Year.
He has to now. I mean, after the way Herbert's been playing, Herbert had a lot of bad, ugly picks earlier in the season. Justin Jefferson, you are the Rookie of the Year in our hearts.
Denver Broncos at the Carolina Panthers. The breaking news, it seems, as if Christian McCaffrey is injured again. You've got to be kidding me. This is insane at this point. Don't have much else to say about this game other than that. Ryan, what about you?
I don't want to say anything. I want to kill myself. Damian Harris, you better do something tonight because Christian McCaffrey was in your slot before I had to desperately put you in the event that you do not play. McCaffrey, you've been my bell cow for a long time. I'm very upset about this. I have a feeling they might just keep him out for the rest of the year. They don't have to do any contract negotiating with him. They know his value to the team. Carolina's a lost cause for the rest of the season. I would downgrade pretty much everyone. Looks like DJ Moore is pretty banged up, may not even play. Mike Davis has not been doing absolutely fantastic. So if you've got better options, I think you jump off that Mike Davis running back train and downgrade him more to like a flex. Now, Denver's side of the ball, there's this QB over there that just really sucks. And are you seeing anything from their offense that's exciting you?
I know a lot of people are picking up Tim Patrick. I think it's too inconsistent for me. I'm not touching anybody in either one of these sides of the ball, to be honest. Though I will say, and I know we brought this up in a previous podcast, Carolina's defense looks like it's starting to mesh a little bit. I think that is the only thing I am paying attention to in this game.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it very well may mesh against Drew Lock. So we'll keep an eye on that defense.
Let's lock that in. Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what else to say other than hopefully Jacksonville could get their second win of the season after being 1-0 to start the 2020 season. Ryan, anybody in particular you are eyeing in this game not named James Robinson?
Well, James Robinson is a little banged up, but Marone said he should be good to go. I think with Glennon giving us the best chance to win,
there we go.
You can safely bench Chark and Chenault this week. I mean, they're going to have their moments, but you can't depend on them. Tennessee's going to have a big bounce-back game with their running game, and I think you mentioned A.J. Brown could be out, leaving the door wide open for Corey Davis and have another huge outing. But besides Corey Davis and James Robinson, you might be the most valuable man in that stadium come that Sunday when you go to see that game, Rob.
I do agree. I will be at that, and that's going to be tons of fun. I was hoping to see A.J. Brown ball, but it does appear that he might be sitting, which is terrible. Play Ryan Tannehill everywhere you can because he's going to carve up this secondary even without A.J. Brown. The Indianapolis Colts at the Las Vegas Raiders. What are you thinking here, Ryan? What do you got?
I'm thinking Las Vegas gets blown out again. They've just been really bad on defense. It was real fun for me to play Henry Ruggs this past week, and it was a pointless league at this point. I'm just waiting to redraft next year for, draft our rookies. And it was fun to see Ruggs get that in, but he also had a fumble, was a little inconsistent at the beginning of the game. So what you're really looking at in Las Vegas is whether or not Josh Jacobs is starting for your fantasy team. Yeah. Monitor that injury report. There's a possibility you could replace him with the Devontae Booker types. Darren Waller the baller, he's a must-start at this point in your tight end category going forward, even into the next few years. Indianapolis, not so much on their tight ends. But we are going to see if Jonathan Taylor can just hang on to the reins of the running back situation. If you are going to the playoffs and have Jonathan Taylor, I would actually start him this week against Las Vegas. No matter who has the ball here in the backfield for Indianapolis, I think they're going to go wild on Las Vegas' defense.
I do agree. And being this late into the season, check and see if T.Y. Hilton is on those waiver wires because he has been balling out the last 2 weeks. The New York Jets. Have they won a game yet, Ryan? Do you know? Oh, that's right. They haven't. That's right. They haven't. The New York Jets are playing the Seattle Seahawks. Chances that Seattle loses to 2 New York teams in the next 2 weeks, yay or nay?
I'm going to go with nay. Right. I think they have a little bit more confidence in that. I did say at the beginning of the year, though, that this was going to be their rough road to the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't just be having shootouts every game hoping to win. You're going to lose to the wrong teams at the wrong time at some point, and Seattle definitely lived up to that. So when Seattle's offense isn't playing well, it doesn't go well for them. But great news here is that New York has no offense. So Seattle will look to kind of bounce off the momentum of their previous game here and continue that defensive streak and just shut New York down. I think that Seattle could be a sneaky defense play. Mm-hmm. And on New York's side of the ball, I think there's a running back situation you might want to talk about real quick.
Yeah, very much so. It looks as if Frank Gore is questionable with the concussion after last week. Ty Johnson ran all over Seattle last week. Not all over Seattle, I do apologize, but the aforementioned Las Vegas Raiders, terrible defense. Be very interesting to see. Does Ty Johnson do this 2 weeks in a row? Who knows? But you know what? I do want to believe that Ty Johnson will run over 100 yards. I said it on the Seattle defense, but Seattle blows out New York. Not a doubt in my mind. The Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. Ryan, I do not want to talk much about this game. Is there anybody in particular you would like to talk about?
Well, I think, with Galladay being out for so long, he wasn't seen at practice again, and you could safely start your T.J. Hawkinsons and Marvin Jones Jr.'s.
Sure.
The Green Bay-Detroit games are usually pretty competitive. I enjoy them. They have that old-school football feel. However, Green Bay's offense has been really good, and their defense has been strong when they need to be. So this is a situation where I think, Green Bay probably takes this one. But just fire up your usual starters.
Sure.
As far as the backfield for the Lions, you're going to have to monitor DeAndre Swift's concussion protocol. He was released from that and then went into like a COVID protocol again, or an illness protocol. So
Perfect.
We think he's good from the concussion injury, but he could still end up on the injury report this Sunday, meaning that Adrian Peterson will once again take over the bulk of those carries.
Yeah, I do agree. Green Bay wins, and it's not even going to be close. The New Orleans Saints, and that Studley defense against Jalen Hurts. That's right, you heard it right. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Confidence level on Hurts in this game against a very stout defense, Ryan. What are you thinking?
I think I'm going to take my Mielik minute on this one.
Here we go. Let's go.
I would love to see Jalen Hurts do something here. As you know, I've been stashing him on all my rosters that I can. Really like the kid. I also like Tua, so there's going to be a bit of a conflict with both them on the same team. I hope I don't cause any bad blood between them, but Hurts is going to have a rough matchup against this Saints defense. This is going to be his first technical start, and he's going to have to do it with the usual suspects that have been underperforming, like Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz. I don't even know if Alshon Jeffrey comes into the building anymore. Travis Fulgham has disappeared. I think that Hurts had some flashes of what's to come, hitting rookie Jalen Reagor with that nice 34-yard shot. But with a interception late in the game, we could see some of those mistakes start to build against the Saints instead of his confidence building. I'm a little worried about that. However, Jalen Hurts, I am pulling for you. That's going to be my Mielek minute. I hope that you can beat this Saints defense, but I just don't see it happen.
Whistle blown. It's over. You're right. I do agree with you. Be very interesting to see if Miles Sanders can have any sort of consistency in this game with Hurts under center. I don't know if I'm trusting anybody on Philly. Just want to see what Philly does in this game. But yeah, the Atlanta Falcons at the Los Angeles Chargers. Oh boy, I just threw up just a tiny bit in my mouth. Ryan, anything in particular or anyone in particular are you looking at in this game?
This is Herbert's time to bounce back. I mean, if there was ever a matchup, it's against the Atlanta pass defense. Maybe not the run defense, but the pass defense. Herbert, this is your chance. You want to prove you're Rookie of the Year? I want to see you hit my boy Keenan Allen. I want to see you hit my boy Mike Williams. I want both of them to have 100 yards and a TD in this game. Is that happening? Probably not. Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Guyton, he's an afterthought. I just hope that they can do it. Atlanta's biggest fantasy provider might be someone you're familiar with in your kicker slot. Is that not correct?
That's right. Koo is my guy. I drafted him in my last pick in one of my leagues, the one that I'm on the cusp of making the playoffs. I love you. I believe there's a statistic out there, and I don't know the exact numbers, but if I'm pulling it out of my you-know-what, I believe Koo has outscored Atlanta's offense 23-20, if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 games. That's pathetic. Atlanta's pathetic. I want to move on, and here I go. The Washington football team at the San Francisco 49ers. Can the 49ers defense stop this Washington offense that just gave the Pittsburgh Steelers their first loss of the season in Week 13, Ryan?
I think so. I'm going to say that San Francisco wins this one 23-17.
Ooh.
There's going to be some gaps in San Francisco's defense where Washington might be able to kind of cut through. They're going to be without Antonio Gibson, though, so you're going to be looking at Peyton Barber and J.D. McKissic as your main options in the background. J.D. McKissic may be more of a PPR format kind of guy. Still got Scary Terry, but they got a great tight end named Logan Thomas we were high on a few weeks ago. He's starting to come into his own. Alex Smith's played a little better. I think he's got 4 TDs in the last 5 games now, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for him and what's been going on, it's quite an improvement. San Francisco, really want to start Mostert. I had to pick up Jeff Wilson Jr. for insurance and drop McKinnon. So as you can see, I'm juggling those 3 guys just like everybody else is. When it comes to Deebo Samuel and Ayuk has actually outscored Deebo Samuel in 4 of the 5 games they've played together on the field this season. That's an interesting stat. You heard something about Kittle. What's going on with him?
Kittle, from what I've heard, it looks like he might be, quote unquote, you never know how trustworthy these news stories are, that he might be available in the last couple weeks. So check to see if he's on the waiver wire. Maybe somebody dropped him. And I don't know, maybe for a playoff championship run, if you're feeling confident, snag him and see what he does. But hey, Ryan, real quick, if you cue me up for my Masio Minute, I would love to talk about this Washington offense.
Washington offense with your Machio Minute.
Believe it or not,
yeah. But you go ahead right now. Here's your Machio Minute.
Here we go. I am very desperate in one of my leagues. I have picked up the likes of Logan Thomas and J.D. McKissic. If you're listening, quote unquote, or in parentheses, I know you're not, but please, J.D. McKissic and Logan Thomas do something for me this week. McKissic has been decent. He is nothing special. He is definitely no Antonio Gibson. But as we have said before, when running backs are given the chance, let's see it happen. Please. Logan Thomas, continue to do damage. He seems to be Alex Smith's go-to guy in the end zone. I could use a couple cheapy touchdowns. Who couldn't in fantasy, especially when it comes to Week 14 and you're on the cusp of making the playoffs. We saw Washington's offense, I guess, do something against Pittsburgh's very formidable defense. San Francisco's defense has been up and down all season long. Logan Thomas, J.D. McKissic, please, from my heart to yours, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and if you're Jewish, Happy Hanukkah. And that's all I have. Let's move on. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 11-1, at the Buffalo Bills. This should be a very fun game. There are a lot of guys we can chew on here, but there's one guy in particular I want to ask you about, Ryan. Cole Beasley, coming off a monster performance last week. Can he do it again?
I'm going to say that this would be the worst chance for him. Buffalo's weather is going to be absolutely terrible this Sunday. It's supposed to be cold, freezing rain, not quite snow, all day. And I think the winds are going to be upwards of 20 miles an hour. Buffalo's not a fun place to live or play football. I would probably downgrade everybody in this entire game. I don't like Roethlisberger's chances. He actually hasn't been playing as lights out as people think. He's one of those eye test quarterbacks. When you see him play, there's some desire, and they can't get a running game established. So in this kind of weather, they're going to need to just rely on their running game. I think there's going to be ugly passing involved on both sides, especially with Josh Allen's inaccurate arm, although he's a little bit more used to the weather up there than Ben Roethlisberger would be, because Pittsburgh's much nicer to play than Buffalo, New York. Now, as far as the running back situation on the Bills, have you given up on both Singletary and Moss? Is that just going to be a revolving door from now on?
Yeah, at this point, I'm not starting either one of them. I mean, Zach Moss was supposed to take over the reins. It looked like Devin Singletary was taking a back seat in the backfield, and Zach Moss has done nothing to impress me whatsoever. But I will be laughing in the faces of everybody who had said Josh Allen was falling apart. It seems as if he is actually a pretty formidable quarterback. All right, maybe he's not the most accurate guy in the world, but the guy's getting the job done. And this will be a very interesting game. This is going to be a very fun one. I believe James Conner is off of the COVID list, so do not be starting Benny Snell, who just looked inadequate. Monday night, this is a fun one. Baltimore Ravens coming off that nice win against the Dallas Cowgirls boys, at the Cleveland Browns coming off a very impressive Tennessee Titans win, which we were both wrong on that one. Who you got in this game? Who are you targeting? Who is a must-start in your eyes in this game here, Ryan?
I really like the idea of starting most of the Browns. And it's, when I say most of the Browns, is I think that Baltimore's defense has kind of let up over the past couple of weeks, and Mayfield is on fire right now. So look to see him link up with Jarvis Landry a little bit. I was surprised to even see Landry get a lot of the volume he got last week, so maybe we can depend on that going forward. And obviously Nick Chubb has been an absolute monster in the run game. Kareem Hunt has not been doing as much, but he's supplemental in the passing game.
Yeah.
He has to rely on those three weapons this week to get past Baltimore. Baltimore, I've never liked their running back situation going into this year. I didn't even like it last year. You're going to see the carry split between Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, and then you have to worry about whether or not Mark Andrews is coming back to help him out in the pass game.
Right.
And I think Des Bryant, who just reversed his decision to quit, he hasn't really even been on the field. If he gets on the field, he's going to be a non-factor. Their passing game is looking to be ugly. Their running game is a giant college committee. Not my favorite Monday night game I've ever seen, but with the way Lamar Jackson bounced back against the Cowboys, hopefully we'll see some fireworks from him, and you can lock him into your lineups for the playoffs going forward.
Yep, and I have to agree with everything you said. So with that, Fantasy R&R, my name is Rob.
I'm Ryan. We will see you next time for the Week 15 preview.
That was Fantasy with Rob and Ryan.